Hello and welcome to episode number 1 of the Cafe Genius Empresarios audio program. Today, as I record this, it is Wednesday, March 1st. It's right around noon. The weather is not wonderful today, but you know what they say about rain? It's good for a drought, but not a cure. I guess snow is more of a cure. And proactive water capture, but that's not what we're talking about today. Today is kind of if you didn't listen to the first episode, which is likely, today we'll kind of kick off a actual rundown of things that are in motion. Today being March 1st, it's as good a time as any to start one of the projects. Another one is moving along very nicely. We have a couple things coming up in March. Pardon me. And so let's go. First of all, the Genius Roundtable. We have our first cohort. We're halfway through the 3-month period. We did talk about whether having 4 cohorts in the year would be practical with the end of the year holidays. If you're a busy entrepreneur, you may be saying there are holidays at the end of the year, but it is a practical consideration. So we'll see the first cohort obviously being the first, and because it's a table full of entrepreneurs, everybody has ideas, and that's why we're doing this. So totally acceptable, pretty cool actually. So we'll see what happens. And one of the tasks that everybody, the 7 of us, are tasked for the next month, which is this month. Later this month we'll meet again, and hopefully we will have a list of potential candidates to take the empty chairs and join the next cohort. There may be more or fewer empty chairs than we'll see. We'll see what happens. Some may choose to jump to the next cohort. Some may be too busy. That's totally flexible. We'll see what happens. So our second cohort will, like I said, kick off in April 2023. The idea is to schedule through consensus so that everybody can make it. The requirements are a little bit strict. You have to commit and you have to show up, or you are off the island. Your chair is removed, so to speak. And that seems very stern, but one of the culture components that we have to get over in the Las Vegas entrepreneurial ecosystem is certainly this tendency that is all too real for a lack of follow-through. So we are absolutely focusing on commitment and follow-through as our fundamental tenets. So think about it. We'll talk about this more. And we talked about this a little bit. Our meeting was Monday night, so the 27th of February. Our 2-hour meeting went for about 4 hours. That's what happens when you have a lot of interesting people and ideas. We talked about whether our ecosystem could use, our Las Vegas entrepreneurial ecosystem could use effectively, it's not a direct one-to-one traditional definition, but essentially some entrepreneurs in residence, sometimes called EIRs, and you'll find these at investment entities, accelerators, incubators, venture capitalist funds, maybe law firms, or anybody that's dealing with entrepreneurs. They provide a sort of a mentorship, advisory. If you're just joining, you've just received funding, or they're considering funding from a VC, or you're joining an accelerator, or any of these various scenarios. Having an entrepreneur in residence means, and it's typically not a long term. It's people would be a EIR between projects or between entrepreneurial ventures. So they kind of they've just had an exit, which that's the goal, I guess, for some. So they just had an exit and they're putting together their next effort or what have you. So they take a role to help others, to advise either or both sides of a funding transaction or any number of things. So essentially our entrepreneurial ecosystem, if it is being corralled, steered, envisioned by various city, county, and state government entities, employees, and staffers, in business and economic development, or maybe agencies like the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, or maybe people in VC roles, incubators, accelerators, VC firms, other such groups. They may or may not be entrepreneurs themselves. They may have been in some cases, but what we're talking about is people who live here, who work here, who are entrepreneurs on the ground, as I like to say. So what we are doing in the Roundtable is taking a deep dive and actually examining what works and what doesn't, in a forward-looking, where are we now and where are we headed and how do we get there? So these are the sorts of people who will actually be able to help. They've actually not thought about their own endeavors necessarily. They are obviously, but they've actually taken a step back and looked at what we are doing and whether we can do it better. So something to think about. Next up, we are soft launching the Downtown Project Retrospective today. I say soft launching because we're still, we have to get started. I don't want to pretend that we are, 90% done already, but there are a few people that have expressed interest from the Downtown Project days. If you're not aware of what that is, downtown Las Vegas had a little ecosystem of its own. Downtown Project, I think it basically, I haven't researched the start and end dates if they are written down somewhere. But I arrived in Las Vegas in late 2013. It was just sort of, I use the term blossoming. It had been, ramping up, but late 2013 to 2014, things were really starting to hit the public airwaves, making the news, getting the headlines. People were coming and visiting and checking it out. I think Venture for America had come in and had a cohort of people working downtown, and there were a couple cool things going on. So we are going to look at that. We're going to involve as many people from that time frame as possible, and essentially do what we're doing at the Roundtable for present moving forward. We'll look back and we'll see what worked and what didn't from accounts on the ground, so to speak. So, if you were an entrepreneur, or if you were a spectator, or if you were, maybe you're still downtown, maybe you were in the retail, hospitality, commercial, I can't remember what they called it, but it was the, restaurants, bars, basically, visitors to downtown would see these storefront businesses and, go to the container park and events and whatnot. So there's those components, some of which are still around. There are some startup companies, Vegas Tech Fund and so on. Many of those left, many of those stopped in various states. So we'll take a look at and listen from the people that were part of that in different roles. I myself was a spectator. When I moved to Las Vegas, I was unemployed. I had just moved to Vegas after a house fire in Sunnyvale, California. So I was looking around, I was talking to everybody, and I found out a little bit about the Downtown Project. Not everything. I wasn't completely immersed, but I then got a job with Intel, so I was traveling a lot. And so when I was here, I could participate as a spectator, and I got to know a lot of people, but then I was always gone, so I was never really a part of it. But, people like myself in that kind of role could have something to say. I certainly spoke to a lot of people, and so that's the goal, is to essentially get real accounts and put together what the picture looked like. And then thanks to our Roundtable, we have metrics that we're going to use moving forward. We can apply those same metrics to the Downtown Project days and maybe compare what worked then, what's working now. Maybe there are some similar things not working, or we can see if we can measure what that really means. So it's still very much a work in progress, but we'll see what happens. So we are actually making use of Zoho One, which I definitely want to give a shout out to Zoho for being so supportive of this effort. So we have the Zoho One suite of tools. If you get invited to join, we'd like to have a sort of an ongoing conversation, whether it's survey forms that you can fill out in your free time. And those will be something like, which kinds of events did you attend? Were they useful? Did you get something out of them? Fairly straightforward, fairly objective. as far as like no leading questions. The subjective responses, of course, will be exactly that. But yeah, we're trying to keep it very utilitarian as we assemble all of this stuff. We're not looking for, what did you think of the downtown project? That would be a separate question, and certainly one that can be asked. But as far as the surveys and the metrics, we'd like to keep it, at least a little bit scientific so that we can actually measure and compare. I don't know if you heard the Amazon. Amazon is always talking to me. So yeah, that's the downtown project. So we're planning to take all year, 2023, and so we thank Zoho for basically giving us a free reign license with all the Zoho One tools. So expect if you get an invitation to join the group, the Downtown Project Retrospective group, you are not joining a company, but you will likely, be invited to chat about some things. Maybe you'll be asked to invite other people. It's going to be fairly organic. So hopefully not an imposition. We don't want to ask too much time, and it will take a whole year. Always a work in progress, though. So again, we'll have more to say about that. Pitch workout room continuing. It's coming back Thursday, March 16th at the International Innovation Center. If you had never been, all through 2022, every month, 12 times, 9 a.m. at the Tech Alley on the third Saturday. So we always had at least a couple, sometimes 6 people to do a 5-minute pitch and 5 minutes of feedback. It was pretty good. A lot of positive experiences, pretty good reviews. So we're bringing that back for 2023 in a larger, 2-hour format, larger room, later in the day, so people won't feel so challenged by getting up early. So it'll be 6 to 8 p.m. and we may or may not adjust the date for the next month. We may have more than one event per month, so we'll just see how it goes. And it will be essential that if you do want to come and pitch your idea, we really have one rule, which is to be nice. Don't be mean, really. So it's not a place to hurl insults, to be vitriolic, to be mean. Don't do that. Other than that, you don't need a pitch deck. You don't need a fully fleshed out idea. You can just come and start talking, and that's usually how things start. You could be pitching for millions of dollars of VC funding. You could be making an appearance on Shark Tank. You could be launching a new product. You could be starting a new coffee shop. You never know. But these sorts of things usually don't happen if you don't talk about it, get it out of your head and into the air, get some feedback, and start. So that's basically the goal. So, and we will probably have a little pitch mingle in there. And if you don't know what that is, you'll find out. So we do ask, though, that if you want to come by, that you bring a friend or two. The audience is definitely a critical part of this. Pitching to an empty room, you can do that at home. Although maybe it would help if you did come to our event, and if you're the only one, it'll be you and me. But yeah, bringing a friend or two, they may have ideas that they'll pitch later, maybe next time, or at least they'll be a part of the process, and other people will benefit because they can give feedback on their ideas and your idea, and maybe somebody will want to jump up and unplanned. If they have an idea they've been pondering, go for it. So we've had general success, like I said, and people really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to see where we go for 2023. And kind of along that line, and I'll apologize now, I can already hear myself doing some popping like that. So I should get a pop filter, I guess. We'll definitely be a part of it. The Cafe Genius people and name and so on. We're arranging for rehearsals actually at the Innovation Center, and it will probably fit into the pitch practice format, whether it's a pitch workout room or something similar. It would need to be a little bit more than an improv session. So Talks is a project that the Innovate for Vegas Foundation, which I'm the managing director of, is driving to launch. And hopefully we'll get some other, First Friday Foundation and Tech Alley, for example, we'll get some other charitable organizations to be a part of it, maybe make it easier for community support and donations and so on. but we're driving the launch of talks.vegas. Don't click on that yet. We literally got the domain and we've been having a couple meetings and very early stages, but the goal is to enable the people of the Las Vegas area, not just the city, but everything people think is Las Vegas, which is much larger. And that's maybe something to talk about in a presentation. But to share, as I've typed in our show notes, what they know, what they've learned, what they do, and share that with the world. So we hope to get some momentum behind public presentations, and we will probably format the presentations according to some well-known structures like lightning talks or I always say this wrong, but Pecha Kucha, is that it? I'll get it right one of these days. So those are 5 to 10 minutes for the lightning talks and a 5-minute structure with timed slides for Pecha Kucha, and which means chit chat, I believe, in Japanese. So the idea is to not meander like I'm doing now, not allow your audience to lose interest, right? So if you keep it tight, you keep it fast, you move it along, you have some nice pictures mostly, don't have slides that people are reading or videos or other content. So you get up and you're presenting you and you're backing it up with some illustration and some educational and informative media, but really they're there to see and hear you. And that's the goal. So talks.vegas. So we'll get that going. We look forward to seeing you, hearing from you. And the big thing there, by the way, a little editorial addition, there are famous branded talk structures out there. We were actually considering rolling that out and pursued that. The inclusivity policies were not in keeping with what Innovate for Vegas Foundation is aiming for. So we're going to roll our own. So we can do this. And I've actually spoken with Jason Soto at View Studios. And if you haven't seen what View Studios is and what their facility is like, hopefully you will. Hopefully you'll be there making a presentation when we get the really cool projects. And it doesn't mean the really big or amazing or corporate funded, but projects that that can and want to take advantage of their production facilities, and we'll have some amazing production. Their giant screen, their video capture and editing, and final production output. And when we post to our media outlets, they will be the best of the best. They'll be amazing, and they will show what we have. They'll show Las Vegas and the people that make it go to the world. So lofty goals, but where you know what they say in Ocean's 11 and everywhere else, go big or go home. So we're going big. So I'll end it there. I'm coming in under 20 minutes. I'm going to try to make that true. So I'm looking at 18 minutes and about 30 seconds now. So I will chop off the front silence. So it'll probably be still under 20 minutes. And on that note, I thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you at our pitch workout room events, whether in March or other times. I hope you will consider making a Talks.Vegas presentation. If you are aware of, if you were around for, if you were part of the downtown project, I hope you'll think about joining the retrospective. There's no rush. You got a whole year. And so we will have this conversation 364 days from now. And I will say almost the same thing. You'll have 24 hours. So right now, got about a year. We're kicking it off. You'll probably get an invitation from someone you know, hopefully, and they will entice you to participate as asynchronously and without imposition, as much without imposition as we can manage. So there we go. I think I'm under 20 minutes, so I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. And hopefully you will join this podcast at some point. Talking to myself is no fun. Talking to you is better. Bye-bye.